The Phoenix Rising pregame show is brought to you by Reese's Dental and Braces.
Rick Schatz and Phoenix Rising return home to Casino Arizona Field in search of their first win of 2019. No losses yet in the new campaign. 3 draws in the opening 3 games of the season as they play host to Adam Smith and Fresno Football Club. And pregame presented to you by Reese's Dental. Tyler Terrence alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. Thank you so much for tuning in as we are broadcasting live from the Valley of the Sun and beautiful Casino Arizona Field in Scottsdale, Arizona. And Devin, when we came into the 2019 season, a ton of pieces picked up on the offensive side. The questions lied within the back line, and more or less it's panned out the way that we've expected. However, I think that if you were to have thought that Phoenix would get 8 goals in their first 3 matches but not have a win, you'd be a bit surprised.
Take my money all day long. Yeah, 100%. I'd lose that bet. And look, you take a look at what they brought in the offseason. Junior Flemings, Adam John, most recently Baquero from a Loney standpoint. All of them have had immediate impacts on the stat sheet. So that's the good news. But like you said, the bad news, they are bleeding goals left and right on the other side of the pitch. That is not a good thing. A lot of rotating pieces right now in and out of the lineup. The Foxes keep a very similar lineup. And so you see their defensive structure impressive. Only giving up 2 goals in 270 minutes. That puts them at the top of that statistic in the league. They're struggling on the offensive side of things, though. They have no real true out-and-out number 9 that's been able to step up. Christian Chaney will look to do so from the 9 position up top tonight, but they'll get it from the wing play. Juan Pablo Cathal will step in. It has to be the focal point.
Fresno coming off of a draw against Reno, and as Devin mentioned, looking for any source of offense. Their last goal scored was actually an own goal from Janjagian of Reno 1868. Phoenix and Fresno to duke it out for 3 points, a battle of unbeatens. Phoenix looking for their first win, Fresno looking for a great start of 2019. It's all coming your way next.
Friday smiles, puppy smiles, funniest thing ever smiles. It's a boy smiles, delicious smiles, best day ever smiles. No matter what kind of smile you have, it's one worth investing in. This tax season, find big savings at Reese's Dental and Braces, including 20% off all treatments. Schedule an appointment today.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to Casino Arizona Field. Kickoff just moments away here in the Valley of the Sun. The 2019 Phoenix Rising season presented by Equality Health. Again, Tyler Terrence alongside Devin Kerr. Thank you so much for tuning in. Phoenix looking for their first win of the season. Fresno, meanwhile, they have a win. It came against RGV on the road, and we'll take a look at the starting 11s now for both Rick Schatz and Adam Smith. And starting with Phoenix Rising Football Club, Devin, a couple of changes in here. and changes that we probably could have expected. Rick Schantz saying that he wants to give guys some opportunities here. Colin Fernandez has done excellent in training from what we've heard. He's going to get the start. Kevon Lambert, who came back from Jamaican international duty, he gets the start as well alongside Baquero.
Another person who's gotten the start is Zach Lubin, who's been training very, very well. And they said that, you know what, Waz has been bleeding goals a little bit left and right. That is a rotation behind the back line, but they need someone a bit steadier back there. He'll get the opportunity. Good for him. Looking up top, can they find Adam John? Nice to see him at the score sheet last week. They'd like it to be repetitive. Let's take a look at Fresno. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. But the big move is the right side. Look at the right back, Jackson. Zach Ellis-Hayden injured Wednesday in training session, has a light tap pull, and now what does he do with it? Okay, they're going to bring in the midfielder. The Brazilian is very experienced, but will he be able to counteract the speed that is Junior Flemings and Amadou in the overlapping runs? Moses has been excellent in the holding midfield position in the middle of the pitch.
Well, Rick Schantz told us in our phone call conversation with him just a few days ago that there's no need to hit the panic button. It's a new system. They're implementing a lot of new ideas, but they're coming up against a tough Fresno side, and a Fresno side that really maybe didn't get to the place that they wanted to in their initial season in 2018, in their inaugural season. They missed out on the playoffs. Meanwhile, Phoenix, of course, reigning Western Conference champions. And this should be a very, very interesting test. And now we'll take a look at the Mayo Clinic injury report for Phoenix. It's more of the same. Meanwhile, on the other side, as Devin mentioned, Zach Ellis-Hayden. And that was one that sort of rocked our worlds a little bit because Zach Ellis-Hayden, is somebody that has a lot of pace and probably would match up well with Phoenix, and Adam Smith having to do a little bit of tinkering with his starting 11 coming up against the Phoenix side that obviously has all the horses to go and score 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 goals.
I'm sure the Brazilian will be fine at the right back position. Again, 30 years of age. He's played at so many different levels in big name clubs, but I'm interested to see what Phoenix does in the middle of the park. Last week was very impressive with Moose, John Baquero, as well as Perez. And what is that going to be this week? Now you get Lambert, who was away on international duty, resting some minutes. He's going to sit alongside Fernandez. We know Baquero can run free, but what is the movement behind him going to be like? Is he going to get the camaraderie to step up high with him in a 10? Is Fernandez going to sit a bit deeper? The ebb and flow of what Kambon Lambert and Colin Fernandez bring in the middle of the pitch are really going to be focal points going forward.
Our head referee for tonight's match, Farhad Dadko. Repped a slew of USL Championship games in his career. Gets us underway from Casino, Arizona Field. Phoenix and Fresno, a battle of the unbeatens to duke it out for 3 points. Again, Tyler Terrence along with the former German pro Devin Kerr. Thank you so much for tuning in, wherever you might be tuning in. And now is as good a time as any to check out the Alsco uniform report. Phoenix going with those slick red and black kits. Meanwhile, Fresno keeping it classy in the all whites. Joey Farrell coming off of his goal against Colorado Springs, his first goal of the 2019 campaign, second ever against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. He scored the opener at altitude last year towards the end of the 2018 season, which actually knocked Colorado Springs out of playoff contention. Kevon Lambert with the game winner. Goes all the way back for C.J. Cochran. John Baquero trying to help it along. Boy, was he impressive in his Phoenix Rising debut. Alex Cooper. Christian Chaney trying to keep it in play. And it's good defensive work from Phoenix. And there's a look at the Philly boy Joe Farrell, and Rick Schantz saying that Joey embodies the spirit of this Phoenix Rising club, and it's just a matter of getting his consistency in the right places. He had a rough start to the 2018 season, a rough start to the 2019 season, but has battled his way back. And as Rick told us, he's somebody when he's at the top of his game, there's not going to be many people who's going to step in and take his position.
You get a lot of that blue-collar work out of Joey Farrell, don't you? And it doesn't hurt that he's scoring some goals as well. I think my favorite stat that I saw this week when PR sent over their notes, what leading goal scorer in Phoenix Rising history at 5. And they were kind enough to include Pete Ramage. He was tied for second with 2 goals. But that shows you an extra dimension that he can bring to the field, that even when the guys are struggling at the back a bit, and as well as up top, Adam John hadn't been able to find the net again. They're finding ways to get it done on the offensive side of things.
Farhad Datko is going to bring it back. Fresno 2 draws and a win in their first 3 matches. First game of the season, a 1-1 draw against New Mexico United. Devin Sandoval got things started for the expansion club, and then it would be an equalizer from the Foxes, a win against RGV, and a draw against Reno. So a decent start for Adam Smith's side, unbeaten, 5 points. Tristan Blackman finding Kevon Lambert. He's closed down extremely quickly by Seth Moses in the middle of the field. Juan Pablo Caffa trying to slide it through. It's going to fall for Cheney. Lubin off of his line, makes a great save and able to collect. But again, nervy moments at the back for Phoenix as Kevon Lambert was particularly slow getting the ball out from underneath his feet.
Phoenix is very lucky that Christian Cheney makes a poor decision here, too, to bring this ball back. He had the overlapping run of Amir Alihajic coming on the right-hand side. Could have slipped it right through. Instead, likes to bring it back. That allowed Phoenix to track back a bit, but good stuff by Lubin.
Switching the point of attack is Phoenix. John Baccaro with it now. Silky smooth on the ball, pushes it out wide for Solo. Asante in for Baccaro, squirts all the way through. John able to collect. And the offside flag is up as John was in an offside position when he went to go retrieve the ball. And Devin John Baccaro was the man of the match in the Colorado Springs game, and everybody was just mighty impressed. The ball in particular that wowed me was the one to Solomon Asante where he put the brakes on and Abraham Rodriguez made a great save, but Baccaro, I mean, it's in his bloodlines as well.
Bloodline's amazing, and we'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about his play because it's easy to look at his assist. It's easy to look at his distribution and the aggressive balls going forward. I like what Rick Schantz said. I brought it up to Schantz. I said, you know, Coach, notice the overlapping runs, interchanging on the outside with JJ and Solo. He said, you know what, Devin? That's all John. He noticed it in training, said he felt like he could isolate them there a bit, brought it to our attention. I said, go ahead and have a go, and he executed to a T. And now you talk about the lineage. It doesn't hurt when your father has played at Real Sociedad, Barcelona. Let's keep going. Veracruz. And oh, by the way, let's just sprinkle in the Euro 88s and the World Cup for Spain. No big deal.
Long ball ahead, Junior Flemings. Trying to bring it down, but closed down quickly by Jackson, the 30-year-old from Brazil. And the best play on a new Ford is at Sanderson Ford. Shop Arizona's largest selection of new Fords with no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense. Sanderson Ford is America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer service. Shop Sanderson Ford. Flemings. Oh, that sounds nice, doesn't it? No hassle, no pressure, no nonsense. Can I get that with you at some point in time?
No. No, you signed up for this. You knew better.
Fresno trying to play out of the back. They've actually lost every single possession battle in their opening 3 matches in 2019. I'm curious, Devin, for Adam Smith, is that something that he's more or less okay with?
Well, he definitely likes to hold the ball. It's interesting with that statistic as well, because when you take a look at the matches that they've played, shocked to see that against the New Mexico game. But it was the first game of the season. Everybody kind of trying to find their form. What are we going to do? Which way are we going to go here? And the New Mexico United then is way different than what we know now. High-powered, high-tempo. The Reno game, I could see that statistic 100% being in favor of Reno. And RGV, that's a tricky one because you're on the road, very difficult to deal with. It's a hard place to play. So wasn't surprised necessarily at some of them, but all of them, he can't be happy with that. But his biggest issue is what's going on up top. And we've talked about it already, but the number 9 position, to be fair, tracking back to last season, they haven't really been able to get that going, and that puts so much added pressure on the likes of Jamal Johnson, Juan Pablo Caffa up top, and they need to find a way to supplement it without going to a number 9.
And it's added pressure on Jamal Johnson and Juan Pablo Caffa, who are 33 and 34 years old, respectively.
Yeah, their bodies don't necessarily need that, and Juan Pablo's been a fun one, too. The positioning that they've employed with him in the first couple matches, he's played a false 9. They let him roam like a 10. And the RGV game, he was basically a 6. Sam Stockley and I were talking to this about you, how he was picking the ball up 25, 30 yards from goal to come back and receive possession and then play matchmaker somewhere else on the field. That's not the worst thing, but if he's coming back that far, who's stepping in that space behind him? And they didn't have anyone.
Quick restart from the set piece. Mickey Daly. Good flick from Jackson. Fresno with some room to operate, but that's signed over the head of Zach Lubin. And Lubin getting the start after Carl Wazinski gave up 8 goals in the first 3 games. I mean, there were a number of them that not much he could do about it, whether it's the Kavan Frater goal, the 2 Santi Moar goals. Think back to the San Antonio game, but the Colorado Springs game and the Ish Jome equalizer in the 91st minute.
Yeah.
There was something that he probably could have done about that.
More than one thing. I mean, it was easy. You take a look at the tape. You knew it when it was setting up. Move the wall over a little bit. Add a third. I mean, it was close range, and it was still in shooting distance to where you should have put a third one in. I know goalkeepers that would have put 4 in that thing. 2 was risky. Then he said to Shantz, you know, I don't know if I had it lined up appropriately. You don't communicate right. You don't come out and challenge the ball. So many things went wrong. So to your point, Tyler, a couple things here and there maybe in the run-up to it that he could have done, but that last one was 100% his mistake. But his mistake, Zach Lubin's good fortune. Now he gets an opportunity to go win the shirt on a regular basis.
That is what it's all about for Rick Shantz, creating competition within training amongst the team, obviously with the best intentions and their common goal of winning a USL Cup. But it's just going to make them that much better on game nights. As this long-range effort parried away by Lubin. Here's Moses. Cut out by Colin Fernandez, who's getting the nod tonight. And Colin Fernandez is drilled by Moses. I would be shocked if there's no card issued here. Adam Smith was not happy about it, but it doesn't get much more clear than that in terms of brandishing a yellow card if you're Farhad Datko, even if it is your first challenge from Seth Moses.
This is difficult, and he's saying it's my first one, but you're coming late, you're stepping with pace, the ball's already been played. Very difficult for the referee not to force his hand here. And he's going to know with Moses as well, it's out of position for him. He's very high, tends to sit a bit deeper. So Moses trying to break down the counter. Well done by Fernandez, retaining possession, trying to work his way out, but rough tackle that sends Fernandez to the ground, and it'll send Moses into the book. Oh, the trailing leg as well, because he gets him with the first step, and then the right leg coming in from behind. Here's a much better angle as the ball's played. This is the shot just before. Good job by Lubin. Might have been over. Might not have been. Well done by the goalkeeper just to slide over.
Seth Moses, 25-year-old from Baltimore, Maryland, in his first season with Fresno. About 20 appearances for Indy 11 in 2018. He's played every minute for Adam Smith thus far. Jamal Johnson with a bad mistake. Adam John, maybe not the right decision. Solo towards the back post. Fleming's up for the header. And it'll be a goal kick for Cochran in the end, but that was a mighty good opportunity for Phoenix to capitalize off the veteran Jamal Johnson's mistake.
Phoenix Rising pressing very high in the opening 12 minutes of this match. Well done here. To be fair, 2 bad decisions by John. Should have brought it over to his left foot, and then he didn't need to play the ball outside. Could have left it right in front of him as Baquero, recognizing the threat, had the overlapping space. Big number 9, 2 no-nos in the opening parts of this match, but still good stuff for Phoenix, showing some pressure in the offensive third.
Flemings trying to find Asante. Solo keeps it low. It squirts all the way across. And thankfully for Fresno, it finds the feet of Jackson. They're just pounding this right-hand side.
Phoenix think that's a mismatch they can win with the Zach Ellis-Hayden injury, and don't necessarily disagree. As Jackson, the Brazilian, is a bit out of position.
Flemings finding Fernandez. Now it's with Baquero. Shows a bit too much of that first touch. Tali Hadjic. Great ball out of the back from Fresno. Here's the Argentinian Juan Pablo Caffa. Remember back to 2017, Caffa scored an absolute banger for the Tulsa Roughnecks in a great 4-3 game between Tulsa and Phoenix. And it's good work from Jackson on the outside. The Brazilian able to win Fresno a corner. And if you are to give Caffa a true out-and-out number 9 who can get it done week in and week out,
game over.
It takes this Fresno team to a different level.
Yeah, it's a much different look, and they can hold possession. They can go left to right. We see the speed out of the wingers, especially this year, considering they had the counterbalance with Jackson. Jamal Johnson didn't necessarily have that on the right last year, but if you can just find a way. They think they have it in Chavez if they can nurse him back from his light injury, they're calling it. But even then, one number 9, you have to find some sort of depth up there.
It's won by Amadou Diop. Solomon Asante, great work to push it out wide for Junior Flemings. Thinks he has Jackson beat for pace, and it's great work from the Brazilian. Crowd not happy with it, but the right call from Farhad Dadko.
Definitely a foul here. Possibly some unnecessary exuberance by Junior Flemings the early part of this match. Did not need to win a foot race there. Again, the overlapping run of Baquero, let it develop. You have Solomon Asante. Just sometimes be a bit patient. Let things develop for you. It does not always have to be these one-on-one situations where they get into a foot race.
Offside flag is up on Cheney. And just a reminder, folks, 2019 Phoenix Rising season presented by Equality Health. Dia did well to find Baquero. If you're the referee, do you play advantage there?
Sorry, I was trying to see the extracurriculars Dadko was having with John Baquero as Baquero just continued to walk through people after the play. He definitely could have. You can see it a bit chippy, though. I mean, you have to realize, not only Phoenix never beaten Fresno, they've even had a lead against them. The 1-1 tie last year where Alessandro Rigi had that beautiful goal to come back, get the game tire late in the game. And then
that 4-0 drubbing
right after the bye week, and they got smoked in Fresno.
That was after hashtag no goals June.
Rick Schantz's first loss after being named the interim manager with Patrice Carteron took off, and that does not sit well with these guys. And early on, you see some tackles flying around. There's another one. So to answer your question, you could have let him play. It's also the referee trying to keep a stranglehold in this game so it doesn't get away and these tackles don't go too far.
And I'll add even more to that. You think about the 1-1 draw here in Phoenix. When Juan Pablo Caffa got hurt in the opening minutes, Amadou Dia probably should have gotten sent off for that challenge.
Yep, Caffa was out for about 4 games after that.
Yep. And when you know it, Amadou Dia committing a foul. He's one of those guys, I mean, he's just more or less a walking yellow card. Similar to you in your playing days.
Yeah, straight red, baby. I waste my time with yellows.
And Farhad Datko, credit to him, he knows that there's a bit of bad blood between these teams, and he's just trying to make sure he has a stranglehold on this game.
Yeah, the problem is you have to have the balance where you don't want to let too many things go, but you also don't want the play
Disrupt
to continue.
the rhythm.
Yeah,
Yep.
keep start and stop. It causes more frustration. You add fuel to the fire.
Well, while Amadou Dia is getting a stern talking to, we'll let you know that Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Fernandez back for John. Blackman a heavy touch. Alex Cooper, the 27-year-old from Scotland. Stout at that outside back position, dealt with some injuries in 2018. Here's Solo. Good defensive work from Cooper.
Very well done by Alex Cooper and just stood him up. And he actually allowed the progression of Jamal Johnson to come over, and they played a little 2v1 game. Not the worst thing to have when you're going up against the likes of Solomon Asante. Solo's got to pick his head up there and allow support to come for him.
Great foot race between Jackson and Amadou Dia, and that's a terrific sliding challenge from the Clemson product. Can you name me a winger who you would put up against Amadou Dia in a 100-meter dash?
Just a 100-meter dash. No ball, just straight line, can't body each other. Just one-on-one, a winger.
Yep.
Jackson. My money's on him.
Here's Jamal Johnson. Cross takes a deflection, awkward for Lubin, off of his line, barrels over his own player in Colin Fernandez. No man is safe when Zach Lubin is off of his line.
You like that answer though, right?
It was okay. It's lazy, it's what it is.
It's smart, it's calculated.
Rack that USL Championship brain of yours. Oh. Here's John Baccaro. Look at Junior Flemings on the other side. It goes for Adam John. Fleming still lingering at the back post. John trying to clip it there. And Cochran read it the entire way, but the ball did go out of play. And a goal kick coming for Fresno. And especially given how good Baccaro's vision has been, I'm shocked he didn't see Flemings on the other side.
What's interesting is the side of field that he's on, that's the Rising side of the field. That's Phoenix Rising's bench right there. Now I get it, you're in the middle of the field, but he doesn't pick his head up, not the end of the world. 99% of the time, he sees everything. Where's the shout from? How is there not a shout for that ball to go back post there? And from the bench, from any of the players around him, shocked that that ball did not make its way to progress on the backside of the field.
And this is bad news for Adam Smith and Fresno, especially if Jackson is unable to continue, because they're already thin at that outside back position with Zach Ellis-Hayden picking up that calf strain during training this week on Wednesday. And if Jackson's to go down, the ability for Fresno to keep up with the pace of Phoenix diminishes tenfold. It's just been a day littered with injuries in the USL Championship. I mean, you think about the Louisville-Pittsburgh game.
Oh, big names going down, and that squad is in deep trouble. They kept their identity. Unfortunately, they have not kept depth. Adam Smith feeling some of the similar growing pains recently with his squad as he's brought some pieces in that have been nice, but talked about the Zach Ellis-Hayden injury. Jaime Chavez, his star number 9 signing, looking very fresh opening parts of this season, but also having a seat on the bench, and now Jackson goes down. And if you look at his bench and go down right now, you really only have one out-and-out defender, and that's Sam Strong. The good thing is he's a right back. The bad thing is
he had 3 appearances last year.
You put nitrous on him, and he's not keeping up with Junior Fleming's or Amadou Diop.
Nitrous.
So I did there?
I like that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That was better than the Jackson answer you gave me before.
I appreciate that. What you could do, though, is if you want to keep some veteran thoughts in there, is you could bring, now stay with me, could bring Elijah Martin onto the left-hand side, move Alex Cooper to the right. He's got much more speed. Because then you still have Del Campo on the left that can help you with Martin. And you can see Jackson just tugging on that right hamstring. Yep. Yeah, he's not happy about it. Otherwise, it just becomes kind of a plug and play. Where can you put the Band-Aid on here for Adam Smith if you do not choose to make that move? Let's take a look at Diego Casillas in the background. He won't have an effect. Primarily employed in the midfield. Jackson is off the pitch right now, so Adam Smith has some pondering to do.
Switch from Kevon Lambert. The Jamaican connection to Junior Flemings. Flemings showing good pace here, and he's taken down by Seth Moses from behind. And I'll tell you what, Moses needs to be careful. Already on a yellow card, got one inside of the first 10 minutes.
Could be a long night for those boys. Junior Flemings decides he wants to cut inside like that.
And this has got to be more of an experiment than anything with Jackson, because he does not look 100% even getting back onto the field.
Against other teams, you could probably get away with this. The problem is it's so much speed from Phoenix Rising. And to be honest, it might have been a blessing in disguise for Adam Smith setting up with Jackson at outside back, but now stuck behind the 8 ball.
Solomon Asante trying to put it on frame, but almost sends it into the parking lot here at Casino Arizona Field. And how about CJ Cochran, the 27-year-old from Alpharetta, Georgia. Was on loan at Fresno last year a little bit from Nashville. And of course, was integral in helping Jimmy Nielsen and OKC Energy FC to that Western Conference final appearance against Swope Park Rangers in 2017. Was part of that ridiculous 11-round penalty kick shootout and actually missed a PK that was saved by his counterpart, Adrian Zendejas, and then Zendejas steps up and then beats Cochran to send Swope Park to their second consecutive USL Cup final, only to fall to Louisville.
It's nice to see that Flemings has the confidence to go at it, but he doesn't have to do this alone. Let that ball release. It can come right back to Fernandez on a one-touch. Even if you hold it and then play it and allow him to come around you, it's still much better than continuously coming inside startage and stoppage. Like, you can't play every ball from a dead ball situation, excuse me. Has to be in the run of play, and if he can learn to release it, ball comes in, let it come out, go back out around. Everything's just a continuous progression. Has to quit slowing the ball down. So many touches on it.
And the foul's going to be called against Adam John, who is riding up the backside of Ramon Martin Del Campo. Rick Shantz is curious as to what the call is over on the Phoenix technical area. Fresno threw it in, and then it ended up being a free kick. I think even the Fresno players were surprised that it was a foul.
Alex Cooper went to throw it in. He had no clue. He literally went to throw the ball in.
Because it wasn't a foul.
They had to explain it to him. And then C.J. Cochran, not happy as the referee told him the ball was still moving.
Attack thwarted by Kevon Lambert and company. Still work for Phoenix to get out of trouble here. Junior Flemings again, he just loves carrying it inside, and Fresno really haven't stepped to him just yet. The pressure from Fresno looks more like a flat 4-4-2 than anything, Dev. John Baccaro finding Junior Flemings. Out wide for Asante. His delivery's blocked. And it should be a corner for Phoenix. And it will be.
They'll kind of rotate in and out of that as well. It all depends on what role they're going to allow Moses to play in. Sometimes they'll set him a bit deeper, and it turns into a 4-1-3-2, and then other times they'll sit flat 4 across the middle, and that seems to be what they've shown in the opening 30 minutes. That's not the end of the world. They are exposing themselves a bit on the outside. Junior Flemings, because when he's cutting in, a lot of people are just following him, but
corner was actually won by Cochran. Looked like it took a deflection off of Adam John and then eventually collected by C.J. Cochran.
They don't seem to be too worried about the overlapping runs of Amadou Dia, at least not at this point.
Interesting keeper kit, orange, orange, black. How do you feel about it?
Orange is the new black.
It's weak.
Sit next to you, aren't I?
Touche, my friend.
Another standard Saturday night in the booth with Tyler Terrence. Love it, every minute of it.
Mediocrity.
It's at its finest.
Next to our friends at Jackson's Car Wash, you get a free car wash with every Phoenix Rising ticket. Visit phxrisingfc.com/Jacksons for more information. In for Kaffa, cleaned up by Lambert, and it'll go all the way back for Mr. Lubin. Zach had to make a couple early saves in the first 10 minutes or so. Good vision from Lambert. Junior Flemings somehow finding his way through. Fernandez had it blocked. buildup was sensational.
Let the ball do the work. Amazing what happens when you slow the game down and make it simple. Touch, touch, touch. Fresno has to start chasing. They're not doing anything crazy whatsoever. It's just little touches here and there, appropriate overlapping runs, quick communication, set up a nice little try at the top of the box, and I'll take a ball on Fernandez's left foot any day of the week.
It's off the face of Baquero. It falls for John. Flemings again. Asante. Not a bad idea, but Cochran lines it up. And look at Jackson going down. There you go.
Watch out. That's not a good sight. And to be fair, selfish for you and I want to see that matchup. I wanted
100%.
to see that all night long. I like the way it was panning out in the opening 20, 25 minutes. Then he goes to the ground, and now you're going to see exactly what Adam Smith has in his bag of tricks.
And that look, I'm sure you know that all too well, and we've seen it dozens of times.
Yeah.
You know you pulled something. It's not crazy serious, probably no tear, but you just know that you can't continue.
Yeah, you're done, and still have to be careful. You know, maybe latter portion into the postseason where you'll push your body a bit further and see if you can have a go at it to help your team. But this early on, there's no reason to just shut it down and figure out a way. You don't make it worse, because if it is a light pull, 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, just depends, but you rip that off, you're in trouble. Push yourself to 2 months out sometimes. Depends on how high it is on the body and how severe of a tear. They'll run through the grades to find out.
All right, so if you're Adam Smith, you like Elijah Martin coming in.
The problem is defensively, he doesn't have a lot of depth on his bench right now. So I'd probably prefer Martin over Strong because of the experience. That doesn't necessarily say he's got a massive amount of experience, but you can move Alex Cooper over to the right, still lay chase with the pace. Martin can slide in over to the left next to a veteran, Del Campo. You just continue to look down, and it's basically Strong. You have Martin, and then from there it's, okay, where am I going? You know, I mean, Martin's got a lot of reps, but primarily with Fresno Fuego and the U23s. And he's going to wait to make a change. He thought maybe he was going to be able to do it. Now they're going to warm someone up adequately so they don't run into the same situation.
And if you're Phoenix, you
run
just
out.
go. You just go now.
Yep, 100 miles an hour. Play high press, go as fast as possible, and see what you can get out of it.
And Devin, for the first time in the 2019 season, is right on a prediction. It will be Elijah Martin coming on. Nothing?
I think the last thing you want to do is give me a confidence boost. Keep my ego in check.
Speaking of confidence, here's Asante. Great ball through. Baquero almost put it away. That would have been downright filthy. Devin Kerr almost fell out of his seat.
It's the little things. Said the buildup before on the tiny touches, just quick in and quick out. Watch this touch. Well done by Solo. Ball to the top of the box, and just a cheeky little ball. Played to the back post. He's got some outside English on it. Thinks he's going to tuck it just inside the far post and take Cochran down. To be fair, Cochran gets a great leap on this ball as well. Not even sure it ends up in if he puts it on frame. But nice ball movement by Phoenix Rising. Almost a brilliant finish by John Baquero.
So it's Elijah Martin for Jackson. A little bit past the half-hour mark. And the substitution brought to you by Jimmy John's. Juan Pablo Caffa, closed down quickly by Tristan Blackman. Ali Hadjic, Seth Moses turning out of trouble. Good look here from Fresno. And it's just out of the reach of Martin. Elijah Martin, 22 years old, Fresno, born and bred. He's only played 13 minutes so far this season. Actually part of that Los Dos team in 2015 that were runners-up in the USL Cup to Bob Lilly's Rochester Rhinos. Somehow Flemings came away with that. And look at the pace from the Jamaican. Flemings taken down, Moses with the challenge, and that's gonna be a second yellow. Moses sent off in the 40th. He's looked reckless from the get-go.
He's yelling, "I got ball." You're gonna get a much better look right now. No, you did not. That's difficult to get away with it, even if you get all ball. Studs up from behind a player. I can tell you, too many times I've been in that situation, chasing from behind, go to ground, win the ball. You go for a tackle from behind a player and you go to ground, watch out, because the referee's already got you on his radar. 9 times out of 10, they're already gonna blow it. And when you get a better look at the replay, his stud catches Junior Flemings, takes him to ground. Shouldn't have gotten that reckless on his first challenge. I can 100% understand it right now, the run of play. But now you go down to 10 men. You've put your team in a very bad spot. And oh, by the way, speaking of bad spots, Solomon Asante now standing over the ball next to John Beccaro, about 22 yards from goal.
I'd let Beccaro have this. It's just a matter of Captain Solo's going to give it to him. And it looks like he will.
He's walked away, and now Amadou Dia wants to get in with his left foot. Junior Flemings saying, best of luck, do me proud. The smart nod goes to Beccaro the way that he's been striking the ball. I tell you, it is one of those situations. It's difficult because you almost think of it as a wasted opportunity, but everybody expects you to hit this ball. One time, just once. I'd like to see Phoenix pull off some sort of trickery and run something off a dead ball situation and catch a team sleeping.
It's Dia, and it's just over the bar.
Amadou Dia trying to pick out that upper corner. And I just don't understand that decision there, because you take an outside back who hasn't hit a long ball, hasn't had a go at net whatsoever, and you pull it away from your arguably most creative player on the pitch to let him have a go. Trickery is one thing. That's borderline stupidity. Call me crazy.
I have dozens of times, you still don't listen. Here's Solo, Blackman to his right. Out wide for the LAFC Loney. Asante looking for John, and it'll come out the other way. Coming up at halftime, we're kicking it with your Phoenix CW. Zach Lubin hits the Sportsman's Expo to show us his outdoor skills. Plus, we'll get to know AJ Cochran as he takes the hot seat for some quick questions. It's all coming up at halftime. Baquero finding Solo. Back for Baquero. Still with John Baquero, but he scuffs the shot. It's coming for Mr. Baquero. On loan from Toronto FC.
Cycle back around and just throws the old peg at it. Rough angle, not enough power. Never truly threatening to CJ Cochran.
Really well done from Baquero. Relieves all that pressure. Flemings for Diop. Trying to get to the outside. He's fouled. And another set piece for Phoenix.
Now you take your time. AJ Cochran, Joey Farrell. Slowly make your way up. Lambert will get in there as well. Adam John, all the big boys, 6'2", 6'3" in stature. You just whip something in and let them go get it.
Great ball in, but Cochran muscles it away. Asante. On the first time from John.
The degree of difficulty on this is so hard. People don't understand. Ball moving away from you. Watch the spin across your body. He hit it with the outside of his foot as well. You can see the way he spun it. Got to put something on frame. That's one where you just put it on your instep, have a go at the goalkeeper, and just get, he's going to give up a deflection.
What about the ball and the synergy that John and Asante are starting to develop? Because Asante had the ball to John on that diving header to give them the 2-1 lead against Colorado Springs, which then would evaporate through Ish Jones' equalizer in the 91st. If those two can start to get on the same page in terms of delivery,
it's Chris Cortez all over again.
might as well be. Chris Cortez getting his first goal for his new side in Thailand.
We've definitely seen better finishes, but
Goal's a goal.
a goal's a goal. He'll take it. Shoot or shoot.
Chris, if you're watching, we miss you, buddy. What time is it over in Thailand?
I've told you, you gotta quit asking me numbers questions. I can't count that high.
Just say it's 5 o'clock something.
That's a trap. It's a trap. I know better. You baited me. The old bait and switch. Well played, sir.
I'm not going to get a call from Jimmy Buffett asking for copyright issues, am I? Solomon Asante trying to thread the needle for Blackman. Baquero. Handled poorly by Fresno. It wasn't a great ball from Solo by any stretch of the imagination. Solo, he's got his dancing shoes on again. Great ball, Baquero! He's calibrating. It's only a matter of time.
One of the best quotes I've heard this year from Rick Schantz was initially about Javi Perez saying that the game slows down for him. That's Baquero in a nutshell in the offensive third right now. He just tiptoes through this, and it's like a composer just slowly putting notes together on a page, speeding it up to real time. And when he finally starts to click, that is going to be some sort of orchestra that we're going to be seeing in full effect.
So Farhad Datko brings the first half to a close here at Casino Arizona Field. Lots to talk about as Rick Schantz and Blair Gavin head to the Phoenix dressing room. Seth Moses getting sent off just before halftime. Fresno down to 10 men. And Phoenix, at the moment, certainly look like the better side, Dev, but it's just a matter of taking that lead now.
Too many unnecessary touches, too many unnecessary decisions. Poor decisions at that. They need to be better, more clinical. They are presenting themselves. They're just not executing appropriately.
We're headed to halftime here in the Valley of the Sun. 0-0 between Phoenix and Fresno.
I'm Adam Waltz, and you're kicking it with your Phoenix CW. Welcome to halftime. When he's not blocking shots under the bright lights, he's sleeping under the stars. Rising goalie Zach Lubin is the self-proclaimed outdoorsman on the squad, and he showed us his skill at the Sportsman's Expo in Scottsdale.
Lights coming in all over the place. This is the dream right here. You trust me?
Whoa. Hey, it's Adam Waltz. I'm here at the International Sportsman Expo in Scottsdale with Phoenix Rising goalkeeper Zach Lubin.
We got it. Now we're fishing. I grew up in Bozeman, Montana, small town like southwest Montana. Gorgeous, like surrounded by mountains.
Lower it and then raise it back up. There you go.
Whoa. How'd you feel fishing out there in the bass tank?
I'm used to like wide open surroundings here. I've got to watch out for people. I ain't trying to hook nobody. There was a lot going on. Don't want to catch any people here. I want to catch fish.
Should I be nervous?
Maybe. Kind of like camping. It's intense.
Oh, we're cutting that.
You trust me?
I do. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Are you like the go-to outdoorsy guy on the team?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always the guy who's like trying to go up to Sedona, go camping. I even sunk my truck in a pond one time trying to drive across it. Yeah, so I'm like out in my boxers trying to dig my my truck out of the pond like before the tow truck came. My parents sold out on me. We used to refer to people with RVs as glampers. They got an RV, they're not even camping anymore. I'm out in the wilderness in a tent.
So is this boat a little too luxury for you?
No, when it comes to boats, this is the dream right here. I get happy just thinking about it right now.
Stay right there. After the break, we have some quick questions for AJ Cochran.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
America, when did the penny become worthless? Well, guess what? With pay-per-mile car insurance from Metromile, you can get better car insurance for pennies. With Metromile, you get a low base rate, then pay just pennies per mile. Pennies! That means for $1 a day and just pennies per mile, you could save over $600 with Metromile. Come on, everybody, I'm worth miles. And with Metromile, you could cut your bill in half. Visit GoMetromile.com to see how much you can save right now. Look, if you're a low-mileage driver, you're paying way too much for car insurance. Poppycock! You could be saving over $600. So, if you're shuttling the kids around the neighborhood, don't drive your car to work, or don't work anymore. Pay pennies per mile and save hundreds instead!
See how much you could save. Visit GoMetromile.com today. Try it risk-free. There's no cancellation fee.
Copper is the new gold.
If there's one thing with USL Championship clubs, is that they have a way to make the experience unique to their clubs. I'm on site here at BBVA Compass Field in Birmingham to talk a little bit about this iron factory they have on site. I'm joined by Marshall, the director of metal arts at Sloss Furnaces. So, Marshall, first off, tell us what an ingot is.
Okay, so an ingot is basically just a unit of iron.
Okay.
So it's just a way to make the iron portable and mobile and in a manner that can be sold.
Okay.
So the process that we're going to be doing in-game is a little bit different than the casting process. This is a forge setup. So typically used for blacksmithing. You're typically not trying to completely melt what you're working with. You're just raising the temperature enough that it can be malleable.
Okay.
So what we're going to be doing throughout the game is taking one of these in our forge and getting it up to temperature red hot and having that on standby so that when we score a goal, we'll take it out of the forge, over to the ingot, and we have a special die with a spark on it off of the Legion logo.
Right.
And that'll be placed on it and struck with a hammer. It's a two-man operation. When we're ready, the assistant will take that. They'll take the die and put it in place, and then the other person will strike it with a hammer. So each goal that's scored will get a mark, hopefully a lot of them.
Yeah.
And, so we have one for each game.
Okay.
So to have the team that they're playing, and so throughout the season, throughout the years, we'll begin to accumulate these and create an iron wall back here with each ingot from the games.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
How cool is that for people to come in too and kind of see this little, you know, characteristic of Birmingham? Yeah. That's awesome. Hammer down! You know, they can tell how hot the steel is by the color.
Got it.
Burning up, red hot.
Awesome stuff from Kelsey Steele, Adam Waltz, and Zach Lubin. Adam just gets to do all the fun stuff, doesn't he? Hanging out with Lubes, doing some camping, some glamping in the RV. We'll take a look at some news and notes from around the United Soccer League as we're moving right along through the halftime show here at Casino Arizona Field. And Devin, Abraham Rodriguez, Phoenix fans, all too familiar with that name. 11 saves in that 2-2 draw against Phoenix, including a penalty save against Solo, although Devin believes that Abraham was a few yards off of his line, which I don't think is completely wrong. And El Paso, of course, with their big signing, with Kisswetter coming over, native Germany. making the move across the pond. El Paso starting to load up for what should be a terrific 2019 season. And we'll take a look at some scores from around the United Soccer League, particularly the championship variety. 0-0 between RGV and New Mexico United. How about Portland Timbers 2 at Taft coming away with a 3-2 win. San Antonio finally getting their first 3 points over Las Vegas Lights. Tulsa.
Come
what
on,
happened?
Man. Tulsa, you're making me look bad.
What happened? Orange County, a massive, massive result if they're able to hang on against Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
Darwin Jones, brace. Brace. Love him. 70th minute. Still some work to do there, but nice little cushion for them in the final parts of that match.
Well, we're headed to another break. When we come back, first half highlight stats, and of course the conclusion of this one here in the Valley of the Sun. Don't move a muscle.
Hey Rising fans, we love it when you post to social media. Now when you do, make sure you're using the hashtag RisingOnCW. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, we want to see your spirit. Hashtag RisingOnCW. Welcome back to Kicking It. Now, some quick questions with AJ Cochran.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Dine-in or delivery?
Dine-in.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Phone call or text?
Text.
Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
On the field, a shootout or a blowout?
Blowout.
Soup or sandwich?
Sandwich.
Hamburgers or tacos?
Hamburgers.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Barcelona or Man City?
Barcelona.
Horror movie or comedy movie?
Comedy.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead?
Game of Thrones.
Flash or Green Arrow?
Flash.
Bend It Like Beckham or Kicking and Screaming?
Kicking and Screaming.
Fullback or goalkeeper?
Fullback.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Jennifer Lawrence or Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett.
Drake or Post Malone?
Drake.
Will Ferrell or Will Smith?
Will Ferrell.
Header or bicycle kick?
Bicycle kick.
Weights or yoga?
Weights.
Snow or sun?
Snow.
Sneakers or sandals?
Sneakers.
FIFA or Fortnite?
FIFA.
Perfect.
That's it. That's
The season is in full swing and the fans are firing up the team. Now it's a big deal for the players to see the stands packed with supporters and to hear the thundering beat of the fan groups.
We love you guys. You have our back every game, through the thick and thin, the good and the bad and the ugly. So keep coming out and supporting us. We're ready to bring a championship back to Phoenix this year.
The Waz says it's the fans who provide that extra energy that makes playing at home so special.
Stay right there. We're back with the second half. Right after this, you're kicking it with your Phoenix CW.
Mobile Mini is a lockdown defender. Have peace of mind using Mobile Mini, guarding all of your valuables on site, at home, or at your business. Mobile Mini storage containers are made of 100% steel and maximize your protection with our patented Tri-Cam locking system that is camera-proof, cut-proof, and drill-proof. Proud partner of Phoenix Rising FC.
Be cool, you got this.
My friends and I here are time travelers.
Go! The Legends, they've gone too far again. This has been one disaster after another.
What a waste! You stay here in 1973, you'll never survive!
ABC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Monday at 7 on your Phoenix CW.
Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr, second half kickoff just moments away, and we'll take a look at the half that was here at Casino Arizona Field. And Devin, I mean, in the opening 10, 15, even the 20 minutes at the start of this game, Phoenix did not look like themselves. There were mistakes at the back. Zach Lubin was called into action early in his first start of the season, and it just wasn't good enough from Phoenix in the first 20 minutes, but it got a lot better as the game progressed.
Poor decision making, and it goes back to what Rick Schantz has told us in the past, where sometimes the guys, they have a tendency to freelance on their own a bit. They get away from the game plan, and you can see it. They start to run rampant. It's all about decision-making, though. They got into the final third. Too many touches. Junior Flemings, a lot of people like to see him have the ball at his feet, but when there's a simple touch 5 yards away from you, cycle it into Fernandez, push it to the right, and allow the space to work for you. How many times do we see that Baquero touch in, Fernandez the other way, and boom, they went quick. That started to get better as the half went on. And then their positioning looked a lot better. Better shape. You could see spaces start to open up when they started to move the ball better. This is one where a lot of what you saw, though, was switches when they didn't need to happen. That ball could have come inside, come around, and then have a go. And all of it turned into half chances at best. A lot of individual performances. Solomon Asante, Junior Flemings weren't to be excluded from it.
Their best moves of the game started to come at around the half-hour mark, and of course the biggest storyline in the first half was Seth Moses getting sent off in the 40th minute. Warranted when we're looking back at it?
100%. It's a bad challenge 12 minutes into the game because your team's already behind the ball. He's a holding midfielder, pretty much sits in a 6, sometimes can step into an 8, and you're 15 yards from the opponent's goal. They had already stepped back. You did not need to get stuck in there. And then the second one. The second one is the worst decision.
And there was a foul in between that as well.
Yeah, and the restart. You're sitting on the yellow card, and you go to ground from behind. You're asking for trouble.
And how about this? Casillas coming on and replacing Juan Pablo Caffa at halftime. That's brought to you by Jimmy John's. Diego Casillas, a 24-year-old from Mexico. He's only played 14 minutes. Between him and Elijah Martin, the two subs used virtually within the first half. The obvious Casillas sub being made at halftime. 27 minutes on the season between the two of them.
He's another one of those boys that understands the organization, though. So many with ties to Fresno Fuego and the U23s and just everything that embodies what Adam Smith is trying to do in Fresno. So he'll be accustomed to everything that's going on here and the system that they play, but another weak spot that Phoenix can go after with not a lot of experience.
Fernandez will go all the way back for A.J. Cochran. surprised to hear A.J. Cochran during the quick questions that they ran on the CW going snow over sun.
It's from Missouri, man.
It's not like they're getting...
He went to school in Wisconsin.
See, okay, that's one thing. But Missouri, I mean, they're not getting dumped on with snow there.
He's not exactly surfing either.
No, I never said he was in landlocked Missouri.
Oh.
It is landlocked, right? Yeah.
Something like
Middle
that.
of the country.
Yeah.
Red Fury Banditos providing incredible acoustics as always here at Casino Arizona Field. And they're hoping that their side can get across the finish line, and you would figure that it was almost a given at this point with Phoenix playing up a man after Seth Moses got sent off in the 40th minute. But as we've seen time and time again, especially in the USL Championship, Dev, that sometimes when a player gets sent off early in the game, and if the other team can sort of fend off those initial jabs and uppercuts from the opposition, it gives them the confidence to hang on, and it really can be sort of a team bonding experience to get a result after you go down a man.
It's that added bit of inspiration. I can remember one of my first years as a professional, and we went down to 9 men with about 15 minutes left in the game.
9? Were you responsible for one of the red cards?
I was not, believe it or not. I was still on the pitch, and it was in Germany. Down 2 goals, 15 minutes. We put 3 in the back of the net, and we won 4-3. It was one of the coolest moments of my entire career, because it was just kind of one of those ones where down two men. Okay, let's pack it in. Let's call it a day. And you like you said, you find some momentum. Everybody starts to band together. You get that 1 goal, and that belief, you just plant that seed, and the other team starts to feel it as well. And especially, we were fortunate we were playing at home. And you slowly start to come back in, and then every single touch is unnerving for them. You can feel that Fresno are not ones to shy away from a challenge. Remember, they have not lost to Phoenix Rising yet. 1 win and 1 tie. And that 1 win was very convincing. 4-0 loss that we talked about earlier. To be fair, in that 1-1, they held the momentum for most of the match. If it were not for that man, Alessandro Rigi, can't wait to see him back in action.
Becerra switching the point of attack. Solo waiting for it to come down, trying to bring it down, but it's a heavy touch. And Alex Cooper did well to retreat for Adam Smith and Fresno. See Fresno getting into the playoffs this year?
They should, shouldn't they? With the talent that they have.
Now that it's moved to 10 teams as well.
Oh, that's a key factor. And you take a look in the Western Conference of 2018, only 1 team with a positive goal differential did not make it into the playoffs. Fresno.
Well, they had that ridiculous stretch of conceding late equalizer after late game winner in the middle of the season last year. It was baffling.
Fresno and RGV, just the tie kings, just always giving up late goals and making mistakes. They did it to themselves as well.
Listen, Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Yeah.
He is the tie lord.
But it does go to show you what that goal differential can do for you. I mean, Swope Park Rangers got in a negative goal differential. All that firepower up top and their ability to possess the ball and go in transition, but they leak goals left and right. And Phoenix Rising take a page out of their book if they're not careful.
What a matchup it was between Swope Park and Phoenix in the Western Conference semifinals last year.
No love lost between those two.
Didier Drogba capping it off. It's a 4-2 win after a wild first half that saw 4 goals. Kevon Lambert had the eventual game winner off that crazy deflected goal. Rick Shantz is back in a suit over on the Phoenix touchline. Tristan Blackman on the move. And Del Campo did well to prevent the corner. John trying to help it along. Good step along the back line from Fresno and Elijah Martin.
Choppy play 8 minutes into this second half from both teams. Not surprising from Fresno. They're going to sit back a bit more and make Phoenix come and beat them.
Good defending from Elijah Martin and company. Got some help from Casillas as well. Ali Hadjic went for Elijah Martin. 22-year-old Fresno native sizing up Amadou Dia. And that'll go out for a throw-in.
Poor service from Martin, but quality sequence from the Foxes. I like the play by Ali Hadjic in the middle of the field. Just coming back in, quick little 1-2, and off they go. They're going to need that. Down to 10 men and trying to challenge this Phoenix Rising squad in transition, going to be very difficult to do.
Vaquero, excellent ball through for Blackman. Solo. Solomon Asante. Vaquero lofts it in. Adam John is there, but the header's just over the bar. Great idea from Vaquero, and Adam John a few millimeters away from giving Phoenix the lead.
Smart as well from Phoenix as this ball makes its way around. Fresno on their heels a bit, and you expect to get to the byline and then knock it in immediately. Solo pulls it back. Elijah Martin is not going to win the height battle, standing at just 5'6", tracking back. John coming across, challenging Mickey Daly, who's got a big frame of his own. But John rises to the occasion, just can't get over the ball to bring it under. Good news, though. Keep pumping that in there to the number 9. You have to find a way to get confidence to him. How many times do we see it in the San Antonio game? When they started feeding him a bit more, they were able to find the back of the net with him, and then we saw it last game. Just keep going after him.
John, of course, had the diving header to make it 2-1 against Colorado Springs. He probably should have had another when he hit the crossbar with an effort coming from the outside of his right boot. And that ball from Vaquero, I mean, the idea and the vision and just knowing that Adam John is in there and is probably going to have a height advantage against most defenders in the USL Championship. And he just basically, in his mind, is saying, I'm just going to loft it up there and hope the big man gets it.
That's smart, too. You realize the mismatch, you've done your homework, and you know where each player is on the field, and sometimes you have to do that. Everything's not going to be picture perfect. Sometimes just throw it up in there and let them go get it. It's exactly the combination those two were looking for.
Flemings was hoping to find Solo. Cooper easily could have let that go out of play. Corner kick coming up for Phoenix.
Something we haven't addressed, Tyler, here in the second half that Fresno has to deal with is they're right in front of the supporter section for Phoenix. And everybody, the Red Fury, the Banditos, they are very, very loud. Personal experience, you and I have heard it firsthand. So sometimes those calls to Alex Cooper coming over his shoulder, he may not be able to hear it. So yeah, he's right to just let it go over the end line, but if he doesn't hear it and he's not sure, smart for him to play it.
Lampert took it on the first time and sends it over the Banditos. John Lambert, who was used in more of a substitute role against Colorado Springs last week. As we mentioned before, him and Junior Flemings were both on international duty with the Reggae Boys in preparations for the Gold Cup this summer. Lambert into Asante. Now it's Baquero trying to find John. And Fresno able to clear their lines. Fans, it's almost time for the Sonic Happy Hour. If a Rising player scores during the 60th minute, one lucky fan will win a $500 Sonic gift card. For more information, visit phxrisingfc.com/Sonic. Foul committed by Lambert.
See Phoenix in their little promotional jaunt they're going into after the game today?
Oh, yeah.
Reverse happy hour?
Stoppage time.
Delightful.
We didn't get an invite.
Well, I did, but their PR guy, Jose Bosch, said that, you know, I would have been thrown out of the booth with a Coors Light, and I respectfully said that it probably would have been Miller Lite.
You don't drink anything other than Miller Lite, yeah.
No, not really.
No.
Get a whole lot of mums.
And we're hearing that Jason Johnson is going to be the first sub off the bench for Rick Schatz, and he'll replace his countryman in Junior Flemings. Bit of confusion. I believe it's just a Phoenix throw-in or perhaps a free kick.
And they blew a whistle.
They did blow a whistle.
This isn't a foul, but they gifted one right in front of the Phoenix bench.
Flemings pushing it down for Amadou Dia. Rare miscue from Baquero.
Hey, jump up. Please, Jesus.
Substitution for Phoenix Rising FC. Entering the match is number 14, Jason Johnson.
And as we mentioned before, Jason Johnson coming on to replace Junior Flemings. JJ already with 2 goals in 2019, both of them coming off the bench, both of them being equalizers and helping Phoenix get points in their first 2 matches of the season. Perhaps his 3rd goal this season will give them 3 points. Solomon Asante, long range effort, and Cochran had to make the save. Not a bad hit from Solo, and not a bad save from Cochran either. And a corner kick coming up for Phoenix, brought to you by, of course, our friends over at Carvana. John tried to take it on the first time. Cochran clearly fouled by Joey Farrell. He was fouled.
No.
Yes.
This is... This is where the emotion would get the best of me in my career. Well done by Solomon Asante. Good look at his opportunity before. Yeah, Cochran sleeping a little bit on the near post, didn't he? Cochran gets lucky as that slipped through his hands.
Here's Lambert. Gets it back from Baquero. Colin Fernandez. JJ out wide for Dia. Great little touch. Dia to the outside, working on Elijah Martin. And another corner coming up for Phoenix Rising Football Club.
There you go. Baquero asking the locals to get involved, and they need that. They need to kickstart this game. Stick some energy back into it. Fresno have done a good job sitting in, very composed on the defensive side of things, not doing Phoenix any favors. You want this game, you got to go get it, boys.
Baquero, great ball in. Fresno deal with it appropriately, but concede another corner.
You have to give credit to Fresno.
A ton.
And the aerial duels as well, because they have stacked it up appropriately every single time. They are not allowing the big bodies of Rising to get involved.
Solo sends one in. Joey Farrell was there. But so is Christian Chaney, and another corner coming up for Phoenix. And more decibels from the Red Fury and the Banditos. Jason Johnson opens up the bar. Cochran off of his line, still loose, and it's coming out the other way. Jason Johnson, that was about a 3 on the Richter scale. And now Joey Calistri is going to come on as the second substitute of the night for Phoenix. And it'll be one Illinois native making way for another. And Joey Calistri coming on here in the 66th for Colin Fernandez, and the substitute brought to you by Jimmy John's. And we'll have a substitute for Fresno as well, as it's going to be Cayudus Lawal coming on and replacing Christian Chaney. Baquero got a touch to it.
Oh, that's nasty.
Finally, we'll be able to get another look at that Jason Johnson attempt just a few moments ago.
Nice first touch, you kids at home. That doesn't happen if he doesn't put his boot on it, just roll it out in front of him. Jason Johnson. Never shy of the dramatics, is he?
And you saw the thought process sort of going on in his head. Has the ball from about 25 yards out, picks his head up.
Further.
27.5. Nobody steps to him, he says, okay. I'll have a hit.
And the best thing is the way that he plays it, because as the ball takes its first bounce, he notices the space in front of him. He had already made up his mind. Great first touch, and just lean over it, get your knee right over the top of the ball, and have a go. And that's just millimeters away from being another picture-perfect highlight reel for Jason Johnson.
Now Jamal Johnson's going to try his luck, but easy work for Zach Lubin, who has not seen much action at all in this second half. And of course, that's due to the fact that Seth Moses got sent off in the 40th minute. And Fresno have been in a numerical disadvantage for quite some time. If the score remains the same in the next 10 minutes, Dev, who's your third and final sub?
Give Ben Spencer a run. Fresh legs, fresh pace. What you're seeing from Fresno right now is what you will see for the rest of the game. They will sit back. They will counter if they can, because Phoenix will expose themselves at times. And they've had about 2 or 3 chances, not great ones, but 2 or 3 opportunities to go the other direction.
And now Kavon Lambert being shown mustard in the 69th.
Phoenix just need to be a bit more clinical in their efforts. Those quick touches that we talked about, just it's the time-old tale. Let the ball do the work. Put it on the ground, boom, in and out. Real simple stuff. And when they've stuck to that, things have looked very nice for them. Unfortunately, they've gotten away from that at times, and you see the individual efforts. It's well done by
Tried to pull out.
Yeah, unfortunately catches them on the backside. Too many individual efforts, and they have too much talent on the ball to be seeing the product on the field right now that we're seeing.
Corey Robertson, the goalkeeping coach, trying to help it along. Fans follow Phoenix or Fresno in the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. It's in for John. Out for Blackman. And another corner for Phoenix. 20 minutes remaining. Fresno down a man. They have defended beautifully. Phoenix still in search of their first win of the season. Meanwhile, Fresno at this point, a point. Might as well count it as 3. Farrell, did he do it again? No, not nearly enough on it.
Still not bad from the center back. Sometimes all you have to do is just put it back in and let somebody else run onto it. Never know if Cochran would have bobbled this, allowed somebody else to get a second effort. Joey Farrell just drifts to the back, sticks it in there. Not bad.
They love the big diagonal, don't they?
Sometimes too much. That ball, I get it, because Jason Johnson gets that ball out in front of him, one touch, and he's gone. I was very guilty of that, probably 16 to 18-year age mark, where you possess this ability. It's difficult to put a ball on a rope 40, 45 yards every single time, and I had that confidence. I had no problem playing that ball, but you don't need to do that. That big, dramatic switching ball doesn't always need to happen. It can actually be a downfall at times in the run of play. And you're seeing a bit of that tonight from Phoenix, where they don't need to knock that ball. Play the 5-yard one right next to you, just play it quicker.
Unless her name is Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
And it's going to be brought back. It's going to be a foul against Fresno as Adam John got cleaned out. And it was Del Campo. They go quickly from the set piece. Joey Calistri. It's not going to count. Whistle already blew. Amadou Dia takes a hit. Adam John in for the header. Bodies hitting the deck everywhere. And they're actually going to bring it back to the first foul from Amadou Dia. Adam Smith is livid. And it's going to be a yellow card. And it's going to be issued to Diego Casillas. Excuse me, not Diego Casillas, but rather Elijah Martin.
Elijah Martin getting late here, and I don't mind the move by the referee either. Adam Smith was furious. He wanted the foul at the top of the box, but it's just a progression of the referee. Watch the late challenge on Dia. Gets rid of the ball, comes in late, studs up, just follows through. It's not a horrific tackle, but enough to blow the referee's whistle. And Phoenix are just being gifted chances on the dead ball situation. They need to find a way to be a bit more impactful. They have not been impressive so far.
But to your point, you wanted to see something a bit more clever, and the quick restart, that was excellent.
Produce something.
Baquero, oh, that's a great ball. Massive collision. Adam John laid everything on the line. He's fearless.
I'm sure a million people can disagree, but I don't understand why this is a foul. This is 8 yards off his line, about waist high. He basically gets punched in the head. Now, I would argue this if it was Fresno as well, by the way. I want to make very clear, it's not about Phoenix or anything. This is waist high, and so when these two are going at it, he's a field player in essence. I understand you protect the goalkeeper inside the 6 and very close to the goal line. But this ball is whipped in very dangerously, and just watch where it's at. It's just inside the penalty mark. The shoulder follows
50-50.
through. That's a 50-50 ball.
But this is what we've talked about before, and why Waz maybe caught a little bit of the flack that he caught for not coming off of his line, is that in the modern game, the referee's going to 9 times out of 10 protect the keeper. So if you come off your line.
And I get that.
Yeah.
And I argued that, you know, we talked about it on air. I said, listen, you come out, you throw your body around, which he did. The referee's gonna blow a foul. I didn't say I agreed with the referee. I just said what happened.
Yeah.
You know, and that's difficult because what is John supposed to pull out of that? His job is to score goals. Any attacker is gonna stick his head in there, especially when the goalkeeper's that far off his line.
Fresno threatening. Baquero getting stuck in. And the ball gets taken down, and now a free kick for Fresno. And fans, just a reminder, get your tickets now for the Rising's next home match on Saturday, April 20th. Visit phxrisingfc.com for ticket info.
Cutis Lawal gets clipped here and a bit soft. He'll get a better look when he cuts it back inside. Well done holding up play. Joey Farrell. does.
He caught him.
He drags his foot there, doesn't he? Smart. A bit more dramatic than it needed to be, but it is a foul.
He grabs the other leg, too. Listen, I'm all for selling it just a little bit, but if you're gonna grab a leg,
yeah, grab the right one.
Grab the right one.
Fair enough.
Jamal Johnson, won by Amadou Dia. Still threatening from the Foxes. Back post, nothing doing for Fresno.
If I'm Phoenix, I go quick right now because Fresno is very high up with their line. You can play quickly, catch them in a counterattack situation. There has to be pace behind some of these offensive moves. It's been a bit stagnant.
Almost at the 80-minute mark. And still no score between Phoenix and Fresno. Fresno have been down a man since the 40th minute after Seth Moses got his second yellow. Good defensive work from Jason Johnson. Dia.
There's the look by Baquero again, coming out of the middle, going to find the ball. Jason Johnson has a confidence about him. He's got one of those nights where a bit of glimmer in his eye. I would continue to try and push it to the Jamaican.
Here he is again. Blackman is away. John up for the header. Dia taken down. Referee says no. Trying to cut it back. Great work from Amadou Dia. Lashes it across, and Fresno deal with it again. It's a Herculean defensive effort for the Foxes and Adam Smith's crew. Ali Hadjic is down.
Ali Hadjic on the ground. He's actually clutching his shoulder area, but trainer just tending to him here. He got turned around. Quite embarrassingly by Amadou Dia. Well done by the defender to continue the progression there. Would have been easy for him to pull up when he went to ground and complain. That wasn't the case.
Bersano!
Good look, one little one-on-one battle. Pulls it back. Might have got away with a handball, but referee lets him play on, and shoulder just popped there a bit.
Is that a foul on Dia?
No. He's good. He can raise his arm that high. He'll be all right.
Loose in front. And collected by Cochran, and we're getting word that Ben Spencer is going to come on. Devin Kerr is 2 for 2 tonight.
Water's on you, buddy.
I'll see you at stoppage time in the West Concourse. DJ, adult sodas.
Pretzel.
Soft pretzel?
With some mustard and salt.
Mustard. Double the mustard for Seth Moses. And Ben Spencer is going to make his Phoenix Rising debut. And he is going to replace Solomon Asante.
He does not look happy, does he? And both the wingers, to be fair, Solomon Asante and Junior Flemings, we've seen better out of. Not just with Phoenix Rising, but in their young careers so far. Good opportunity for Ben Spencer to introduce himself to the Phoenix Rising faithful.
Spencer, 24 years old, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Came over from Toronto FC 2. Has made a few appearances for Toronto FC in Major League Soccer. Came up for the Real Salt Lake Academy as well as Chivas USA. Dia again sliding his way through. Vaquero, he scuffed it. Farrell, hoping for John. Again, ambitious. Are there goals in this one? Let me rephrase that. Is there a goal in this one?
It's a bit better, isn't it?
Take your time.
I'll let you know when one hits the back of the net. Yes. Yeah, Phoenix will get one here. Fresno starting to wear. You can see them dancing in a bit too much. They're diving here and there. More space is starting to open up for the home squad.
Johnson wants to get to the outside. And a bit too handsy trying to get around Elijah Martin. Probably the right call.
He catches him at the beginning of this because he does pull his arms back, but it's the initial touch.
That's after he hit him.
Yeah, clips heels that pushes Martin to the ground. And what you need to be careful with right now, if you're Fresno, is Martin is sitting on a yellow card and the ball just goes down. Cochran has taken 25, 30 seconds every single time he steps over the ball. Goal kicks, restarts, and the referee's going to take notice of that. He'll go into the book soon.
Here's Jamal Johnson dancing his way through. Casillas. Great footwork from Amadou Dia, who is tap dancing his way out of not conceding a corner. Joey Calistri back for Blackman. Vaquero. John lashes it out wide. Calistri keeps it low. And Del Campo will surrender a corner. Next on 2.5 Men, Allen's having a fairy tale romance with a much older woman. And what's the secret behind Charlie's charmed life? That's coming up after the match on 2.5 Men. Another corner kick. Dia scrambles to keep it in play. Now he whips it back in. Farrell got ahead to it, but comes to nothing for Phoenix Rising once again. Well, Dev, we've seen this type of situation before. It takes a moment of individual brilliance, maybe a little bit of luck sprinkled in, and maybe some help from the Rising faithful as well.
Well done by Jamal Johnson. That's so good. Great job to hold up play and then just kill off some of this time.
Wave after wave of Phoenix attack. Amadou Dia. Jason Johnson gets a cute little flick to it. Falls for Lambert. Calistri now. That'll spin out for another Phoenix corner. 88th minute. Fresno hanging on for dear life. They've done brilliantly. There's no getting around that. Vaquero again, outswinger. Joey Farrell nods it down, loose in front. And again, Fresno will concede a corner. Vaquero again, Lambert got ahead to it, as did Fresno. Vaquero. And the header from Spencer.
Almost too little, too late with Phoenix Rising tonight. Fine tuning that we've seen from them offensively in the past. It's now in full effect here. Tell me why right now you don't put this ball down in the channel for Amadou Dia. Before, they wanted to play quick. He was 5 yards from the ball. Put it down in the corner. Let him go get it. It's the same look you're giving over and over and over again to Fresno. The footballing minds that are on this field are not that complacent. They have to be able to see that. And it's got to be quicker. I get it. You want to put the big bodies in, but also, I said to you, give them a different look. Amadou Dia is standing there 2 yards off the touchline. Play him down in and give him space to run onto it. Go one-on-one and play right across the box. Just the imagination overall from the Rising tonight lacking. And that being said, so far, kudos to Fresno and just being able to maintain their shape and a wave after wave of push. Not impressive pushes, but wave after wave of attack by Phoenix Rising.
And it's not like CJ Cochran has had to make any world-class saves tonight either.
No, they haven't tested him at all.
Ben Spencer gets a flick to it. Adam John just skirts wide. Still about 3.5 minutes for Phoenix to try to snatch the game winner, and 3.5 minutes for Fresno to attempt to hang on. JJ knocks it through, hoping that Spencer will be run onto it, but it's good defensive play in the end. John taken down. Farhad Dadko not interested whatsoever. And we're halfway through the 4 minutes that have been added on. JJ kept it in. done from Elijah Martin. Now it's Casillas. John got a touch to it, and he was fouled as well. Phoenix running out of time. Fresno almost home free. Vaquero clips it in. Lambert is there, loose in the box and muscled away by Fresno. The Phoenix Rising faithful rises one here at Casino Arizona Field. Vaquero, Cochran punches it away. And Fresno deal with it again. Is there one last push? Blackman launches it back in. Look at CJ Cochran off of his line. Full time. The Fresno Foxes hang on for a point on the road at Casino Arizona Field after Seth Moses got sent off in the 40th minute. Both teams remain unbeaten. Phoenix still in search of their first win of 2019. It's a fourth straight draw to start out the new campaign for Phoenix Rising. A wild affair here at Casino Arizona. It's the first clean sheet of the year for Phoenix. A masterful defensive performance from Fresno. Plenty of questions to be answered, and we'll try to answer them at the very least after the break, and we'll put a bow on it. Final score, 0-0.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Who builds their vehicles in America? Honda. Who has been awarded the highest safety rating? Honda. Who has the best SUV brand? Honda. Who has the only vehicle to be chosen as a top pick by Car and Driver for a record 33 times? Honda. Who has KellyBlueBook.com chosen as a best buy? Honda. Honda is the gold standard for quality, safety, and value. Buy the best, drive the best. Remember, only a Honda.
No goals to be had after 90-plus minutes here in the Valley of the Sun. Frustrated beyond belief is Adam John, and I'm sure the rest of the Phoenix Rising roster, coaching staff, fan base. But as we've talked about, and how Rick Shantz has explained to us a number of times, there are going to be growing pains with this new system and figuring out how everything's going to work. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr, thank you so much for having tuned in. And if you are just joining us, we'll help you out a little bit and show you how it all went down. Spoiler alert, there will be no goals in this highlight package. Devin, I mean, silver lining is you get a clean sheet after giving up 8 goals in the first 3 games of the season.
You talk about growing pains. That was just downright painful. The second half was a poor display of football by Phoenix Rising. You're up a man. You showed no enthusiasm whatsoever. Look, this is a team that on the offensive side of things have become brilliant storytellers, poetry in motion at times. Unimaginative in the second half. There was a lot of movement by Baquero, and no one followed suit. Junior Flemings could have stayed on the bench for me all night long. I was not impressed with anything that he did. He was selfish in his run of play. He did not give it up early along. In steps Jason Johnson. Wasn't the best out of Jason Johnson, wasn't the worst. Sometimes with him, you're only going to get a glimpse here and there. Strike from 35 could have been brilliant highlight material. Instead, it's the one that got away. And they just didn't show anything of any sort of imagination at all in the second half. And that's what frustrates me the most with all of the names that you have. Jason Johnson, Baquero. You even bring on Spencer and Calistri. There was no energy whatsoever. And now let's switch it. This is brilliant by Fresno. They have done so well to keep a clean sheet here because on the road and it's such a hostile environment, it would have been easy for many a team to put their head down and sulk away and wander away in the night and walk out of here with their tail tucked between their legs. That is not the case. This is a victory for them.
And how about the managing of Adam Smith throughout the course of this game, having to deal with the injury from Jackson, having to deal with the injury from Zach Ellis-Hayden, who is for sure going to start in this game after he picked up a knock during training on Wednesday, and then to be able to make the move to bring off Juan Pablo Capa, arguably the best player in your club, bring on Casillas for defensive responsibilities, and hang on for a point. It's really a masterful performance on his part as well.
Yeah, that's why they get the win here. And again, they lose the possession. They don't care. They went down to 10 men. They didn't care whatsoever that they were going to hold possession. Ali Hadjic came deeper on the right-hand side, and when you brought in Casillas, he was able to sit in the middle, basically said, you know what, Cheney? You run your butt off for the next 20, 25 minutes, and we'll bring on someone for you. If you get a goal, great. If not, all we want to do is get out of here unscathed. It's exactly what they did outside of the injury that they might have picked up with Jackson.
I mean, just stunning statistics. 23 shots, 2 of them on target.
I tell you, if I was the manager of Phoenix Rising right now, he won't do it. I'd have everybody out there running. That's how poor it was.
Well, another silver lining. Amadou Dia is your Mobile Mini man of the match. Amadou certainly had some moments tonight where he was able to slip by defenders here and there, and at the same time, I'm sure you also think it could have been better from Amadou Dia.
No, I didn't think he had a bad outing. It's the most offensive progress we've seen out of him all season so far. So 4 games in, that's the best we've seen him, and I was really proud of him continuing his runs where times in the past he'd go into a tackle, go to ground, ball would go out, he'd complain. That wasn't the case. He persevered through it and provided some glimpses that Phoenix Rising needed to see out of their left back.
Well, the next home match for Phoenix is going to be April 20th, but their next match is going to be at El Paso Locomotive, who are starting to put some things together, bring some pieces in, and they're going to certainly be a tough out, and perhaps Phoenix will be able to find their first 3 points, albeit it would be on the road. Meanwhile, Fresno at the moment are just going to enjoy this bus ride back home and enjoy the point that they so deservedly earned here at Casino Arizona Field. Phoenix still in search of their first win of 2019, but they remain unbeaten and get their first clean sheet of the year. For our entire crew, my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, I'm Tyler Terrence, saying so long for now. The final score from Casino Arizona, Phoenix Rising 0, Fresno 0. Up next on Phoenix CW, it's 2.5 men. We'll talk to you soon, folks.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.